are we still here? Just to suffer?
There's a viral clip going around right now showing President Joe Biden being absolutely humiliated by Barack Obama. Barack Obama recently met up with Democrats at the White House to mark the 12th anniversary of Obamacare, basically in panic mode over the fact that Democrats are absolutely bleeding in the polls. In another scathing moment, Barack Obama calls Biden vice president. In other news, Twitter says it will not reinstate Donald J. Trump, despite Elon Musk vowing significant change to the woke platform. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet, we need to talk about the disaster that is this administration. So Obama recently went to the White House to celebrate and talk about the Affordable Care Act. Obamacare was something created and instituted under Obama, which was largely considered a disaster by many. But more importantly, I think all of this shows just how desperate the Democrats are as the 2022 midterm elections come up. More importantly, we have multiple financial organizations saying that the United States is headed for some very, very hard times. But we're going to talk about that, folks, and more. But before we do, remember to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for updates for future content, and if you like content like this, please share the video with your family and friends and online. And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Introducing Webull. Webull is a trading app where you can buy and sell cryptocurrency and stocks. Open a Webull account today, download the app, and deposit any amount of money, and you will receive 5 free stocks worth up to $9,600. There's also a $5 crypto reward when you make your first cryptocurrency trade. Join today by clicking the link down below. And we're back. All right. Many of you have probably heard about Elon Musk buying a 9% stake in Twitter, recently putting out a poll asking people if they want an edit button. Amazingly, the CEO of Twitter actually responded, saying that he would pay attention to the results of the poll and act accordingly. And now, turns out Twitter is actually working on a edit button. It's very interesting. However, we have some very bad news. Twitter is saying that it refuses to reinstate Donald J. Trump.
Back to Trump.
Here, the story says, Twitter says it will not reinstate Trump, despite Elon Musk vowing significant change to the woke platform, after taking a seat on the board of directors with a 9% stake as the largest shareholder. Now, do I think this means that it's over? That we'll never have free speech on Twitter? No, I don't. I think this is the very beginning. We need to keep pushing. We should ask for Donald Trump to be reinstated every single day, all the time. Reinstate Donald J. Trump. If Twitter is to have any sort of legitimacy as a platform, it needs to have free speech instead of being a woke cult. But speaking of policy and its consequences, according to the Deutsche Bank, we are forecasting a recession for the United States by 2023. The unemployment rate rising to 5.1% as the Federal Reserve scrambles and struggles to quell rampant inflation. They say that the Federal Reserve's plan to raise interest rates, this is to fight inflation, will bring the highest inflations we have seen in 40 years, and that this recession could carry all the way into 2024. So here the story says, the central bank projects that overall inflation will be up 4.3% just this year, which is from where we're already at, which is like what, 6 to 7%? So what are we going to be at, like 10% inflation? That's insane. They say, meanwhile, economic growth is projected to be at 2.8% this year, a steep drop from last year, which was at 4% growth. In other words, the economy is no longer growing. This is going to lead us to stagflation, where we stagnate and inflate. Not a very, very good thing. Now, there's a lot of numbers here. They're kind of historic. I'm not going to go through the math. Long story short, it's very simple. Inflation is out of control. Gas prices are out of control. And we all know who to blame. Joe Biden. Here you can see in the following headline, billionaire investor Ray Dalio warns of soaring inflation under Biden that will take America back to the 1970s. And he's saying that yes, Biden has caused this problem. He talks about a paradigm shift in which the U.S. economy, the U.S. dollar, loses its global dominance and basically collapses. But let's talk about the war. In a UN speech, Ukraine's Zelensky has accused Russia of the worst crimes since World War II. President Volodymyr Zelensky has been going around saying a lot of very inflammatory stuff, claiming that Russia is responsible for horrible war crimes. A lot of people are talking about war crimes committed by Russia, but nobody's talking about war crimes committed by Ukraine. It's also hard to believe a lot of the news coming out of these areas, since there's just been so much lying and so much propaganda in regards to the war. Who do you believe? Do you believe the media? Do you believe Ukraine? Do you believe Russia? All of these countries have their problems. Now here's my problem. Everyone seems to want to make this war worse. Zelensky's asking for more tanks, more guns, saying that it's never going to surrender and that it wants to fight, presumably to the death. And this is a bad thing. Zelensky seems to not care about his own citizens' lives, because if this war continues, more lives will be lost. Now at the same time, NATO is saying now, hey Finland, hey Sweden, why don't you join us? I'm sure this will have no negative consequences, as Russia, who's very, very angry about this, is warning of retaliation. Here in the following story, Finland and Sweden would be welcomed into NATO if they applied to join, Secretary General Stoltenberg says, as Russia warns of retaliation. Okay, so NATO has been going around saying that presumably neutral countries can totally join NATO. Okay. Here's my problem with the war in Ukraine. In many ways, it's NATO's fault there's a war. NATO for many years has been pushing and saying, well, we want Ukraine to join, and we want Sweden to join. We want all these countries to join so we can surround Russia, take away their access to the ocean and the Black Sea, and screw them over. So what does Putin do? Well, he says, no way, Jose, and then he invades Ukraine. Now, instead of seeking peace, a compromise. Instead, everyone's doubling down. Europe right now is increasing their sanctions on Russia's energy. NATO's saying they want Finland and Sweden to join them. I mean, gosh, it's as if these globalists and elites want a nuclear world war. That's what it feels like. Look, it's really simple. Russia hates NATO the same way that America hated the Cuban Missile Crisis. The issue was that they were going to put nukes in Cuba, which could be launched directly into the United States. Russia feels the same way about Ukraine. They don't want Ukraine to have missiles and nukes because those nukes will be easily launchable to Russia. That's why Russia invaded, because NATO keeps trying to push and gain more members and presumably, be a threat. It's that simple, folks. In other news, the U.S. is defaulting on its Russian debt payments. Like, the U.S. owes Russia money. So not only did U.S. banks seize billions of dollars of Russian money, basically stole it, they're now not going to pay their debts to Russia. Well, gee whiz. I'm sure if the world keeps sanctioning Russia, they'll totally back down. Or are you just giving Russia and Putin nothing to lose? In fact, I would say they have no option but to continue and finish what they started. Ultimately, I think that means bye-bye Ukraine, because this is not working. These sanctions have hurt America, have hurt us more than it's hurt Russia. Hopefully Twitter changes its mind and brings back Donald Trump. That would be legendary. And I hope people realize that Obama, Biden, the Democrats, they're absolute failures. The economy reflects that, the polls reflect that, and people need to wake up. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know by commenting down below in the comment section. As always, support the channel by joining me on Patreon or Subscribestar, as this channel is currently funded by viewers like you. Anyways, thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you all next time.